It's actually the shift from a job-based structure to a skill-based organization, which is SBO, is actually redefining the workforce architecture.
That's John Masud Parvez, founder of VSHR Group. John has led impactful transformations for billion-dollar companies and spearheaded research-driven solutions across sectors, including healthcare, HR, and education. His expertise of 8 years in research on workforce transformation are featured in his book, 100x Business Workforce, which is being translated into several languages. You are listening to Dear Human Resources, and I'm your host, Marilyn Germain. In this episode, John is going to talk about technology and workforce change management. Welcome to the show, John.
Thank you, Marilyn.
How about we start with how can technology shape the future of workforce transformation?
There's a lot happening in that space, but fundamentally, I like to share with the audience 3 key aspects on this technology transformation, which is actually going to shaping all these things. So the first one I want to talk about is about skill-based organization. In short, many experts talk about SBO, but actually it's now powered by AI and skill intelligence platforms. So let me just break it down. What is it? So it's actually the shift from a job-based structure to a skill-based organization, which is SBO, is actually redefining the workforce architecture. So in this model, employees are no longer locked into a static job description. Instead, they are contribute skill across multiple projects driven by intelligence, talent marketplaces, and AI-driven skill graphs. So there's a book talk about it, which is a work without jobs in 2022. It was been published. And is there any application so far? Yeah, it is. So Unilever already applied this model. They call the project called Talent Marketplace Implementation. So Unilever launched an internal AI-powered talent marketplace to dramatically match people with project based on the real skill data. So Unilever also, on the other side, removed the traditional job description for thousands of roles, adopting skill-based model in HR practices like performance review, workforce planning, and career pathing too. So now, until now, we talk about this model, right, and implementation. So what is the outcome Unilever got so far? So the outcome is stunning. So 60,000 plus employees onboarded into the talent marketplace. Many of them, critics were saying this one, no one wants to join this marketplace, but there was 60,000 plus. And here's the next kicker. 80% of the project matched successfully within the internal workforce, reducing the external hiring cost. And the third thing is about employee engagement and career mobility score was increased by 20% in 2023 in Unilever. So that's the first one. The second one I want to talk about is about a workforce digital twin, which is AI-driven workforce simulation model. So what is this one? Let me break it down to you. What is the key concept? A workforce digital twin is a virtual representation of a company's entire workforce, including talent data, capabilities, learning history, performance metrics, or even behavioral patterns. So these twins are used to simulate workforce changes, predict skill gaps, or could be done for model organizational changes, or even test future workforce scenarios as well too. So there is a publication that was been done in 2022. It's called Digital Twin for Workforce, Reinventing HR Roles in 2025 and Beyond. So far, there's several implementation has been done of this model, but the one really catch my eye is done by Siemens. So they call the project Global Workforce Planning. So Siemens has deployed workforce digital twin across multiple divisions to simulate scenarios such as M&A, integration, automation impact, and workforce reskilling too. So in terms of outcome, Siemens reported 30% faster workforce scenario planning cycle, and they have saved almost $40 million per year by prioritizing workforce planning accuracy and reducing redundant hiring in overlapping skill areas too. So that's number 2. And the third and the final one I want to mention on this one, which is really shaping, is employee experience platform. But it's not just EXP because it has the sentiment AI and personalized workflows. So what is this one? Is this? So next-gen employee experience platform, EXP, combine the AI-driven sentiment analysis, personalized learning, and intelligence nudges to create adaptive employee journeys. So you can understand that the nudges will be typically applied for the manager. I will be talking to you how it's been applied in a minute. But just one thing I also want to talk to you before I actually talk about how it's been applied. So these platforms are designed to continuously listen, adapt, and respond to employees' preferences, moods, and career aspirations. So there is a publication was done by John Bersin in 2022. So publication name is about EX equal to CX, unlocking the employee experience flywheel. The implementation was been done by great company Microsoft. So they call the project is about hybrid work experience platform. So Microsoft Viva platform integrates directly to Microsoft Teams, blended work learning, well-being, and feedback into a single AI-driven employee experience ecosystem. So Viva Insights uses the sentiment AI to track the employees' well-being signals like burnout, risk, collaboration overload, and provide managers with nudges to proactively address issues. And as an outcome, so far Microsoft got these are the things. I think this is gonna surprise many of you who are listening. So the first one is about Microsoft employees uses Viva reported a 14% improvement in perceived work-life balance in 2023. And the second thing from the manager side, the manager who are using the Viva Insight not just reduce the unproductive meeting time by 21%. So these are the three things top of my mind, which is typically shaping the workforce transformation through technology.
What about in industries that are traditionally resistant to change? And what are those industries that are typically resistant to change?
I'll mention two actually. There are several I can talk about, but I want to mention actually two, and probably the third one will be the public sector. As usual, as the government has a lot of bureaucracy, but that's why I'm putting it as a number three. But let me tell you what the number one and number two. And I want to go a little more deeper on this one, so anybody listener can get a good grasp about this one. What is the issues and what could be the solution for it? So the first one I'm like to call it as a manufacturing. Manufacturing means heavy industry, automotive. So what is the reason behind of this all resistance? So I see this on two reasons. The first one is about legacy system and workforce structure. So decades of reliance on manual process, hierarchical structure, and unionized workforce create a strong resistance to automation and digital workforce transformation. The second thing is about the skill mismatch. So according to the World Economic Forum, Future of Job in 2023 published this number, 67% of manufacturing workers in developed economies lack the digital literacy required by the smart factory roles. And McKinsey also highlighted a different report too, but I just don't want to just say, oh, this is the industry is the most behind in terms of resistance to change. But I want to talk about some success story as well too, because I want to also set the vibe of hope that this industry can transform, and that successful story is coming from Volkswagen's AI-driven reskilling program they launched in 2022. So they invested 1.4 billion in reskilling program focused on electrification and digital manufacturing. And as an outcome, they got a 60% reduction in external hires for software and battery-related costs by upskilling existing workers. So anybody who are listening, it's possible to do it. Manufacturing is in our number one, and we know there are two reskilling, and there is a way around for this one. And Volkswagen is a great example for that one because they have done it. So with this one, I want to move to the number two on this one industry. Number two is the healthcare. I typically mean this one, hospital and elder care. Pharmaceuticals are quite ahead of it. So I typically want to mention about healthcare means hospital and elder care. So what is the reason behind of all this resistance? So I see there are two. The first one is about regulatory burdens and a passion-centric culture. It's very important, the passion-centric culture. It has to be there because it's healthcare, it's about life. But however, it has a side effect, which is causing this one. And how is it? Let me explain to you. So healthcare prioritizes patient safety and regulatory compliance over workforce experimentation, leading to a slow technology adaptation in HR processes. Number two, it's all reported by Deloitte actually in 2023. 64% of healthcare employees believe AI in HR will compromise human judgment in hiring and promotion too. So that's the second one into it. So I want to share some of the hope. Like I said, there's a company is doing it, and there's a US Mayo Clinic. They have done an incredible project around that thing. So they have implemented AI-powered nurse scheduling in 2023. So they have implemented an AI scheduling for 32,000 plus staff and reduce the nurse overtime by 21% because of that AI scheduling, and improve the shift satisfaction by 18% in just 1 year period of time. And like I said, so the third one is a government and public sector. I think everybody will be seeing about different issues. So I don't want to speak the same reason of resistance to, but I want to talk about a successful story on this one. And I want to wrap this answer to you, Merlin. So just look at the Singaporean smart nation workforce transformation they have been running 2022 to 2024. So they have introduced a digital skill passport for all public servants. So what does that happen for that one? It resulted in a 29% increase in lateral mobility within the government agencies. So that's a good example. Such kind of passport implementation is a good example for other government sector to do. I know there's a US, there's a lot about to happen with the Doge, but this could be a good successful story they could also think about.
Now, workforce resistance to change it's a major challenge in change management. And I mean, we all know employees and people in general hate change. They don't like change. So what strategies can HR leaders adopt to build a change-ready culture in their organizations?
It's actually a very compound problem. But when we look at this compound problem, I like to address it with three key strategies which can help a lot to tackling this compound problem. So the first one, build a culture of continuous learning and psychological safety. Many organizations fail in this strategy because they just do one of them, not both of them hands on hand. And I will tell you why it works. So workforce resistant change when they feel ill-equipped to handle new processes or technologies. Building continuous learning ecosystem and fostering psychological safety help the employees to see change as an opportunity, not a threat. So as an HR, we need to, or leader, we need to make sure that everybody's seeing it as an opportunity, not as a threat. So I want to share with you one example of this one, which is company doing it really well. So it's also in manufacturing, Unilever. So they call the project Future Fit Learning. They launched it in 2023. So what they have done? So this is the 4 things they have done, and this is how they got the result into it. So they implemented a personalized AI-based learning pathway linked to future skills for their employees. They also integrated continuous learning metrics into the performance appraisals too. And the results, 80% or plus employee participations in upskilling initiative within the 18 months. Because normally always HR find it hard to get people to sign on their upskilling program. But here is the complete shift, 18 months, it worked for them. And the internal mobility increased by 30%, reducing the external hiring costs by not just 50 or 100, but actually $200 million. So that's a great save for Unilever. So that's the first one. The second one strategy I want to talk about is about embedded change advocacy into all levels. And this is the thing, the keyword, all levels. And many organizations start to do it in the top-down approach and pretty much die before it even goes to the middle managers. They do it in the top, or they do opposite. I have seen some multinational company, they do it in the bottom up, and it dies before it successfully goes even crossing the mid-level too. So that's why the magic word is in this strategy is about all levels. I like to call it as a distributed change leadership. So Martin, let me explain to you why it really works. because the top-down change messaging fail when the middle managers and frontline staff are not aligned. That is the issue. So organizations that empower employees at all levels to be change champion see higher buy-in or a lower resistance. So if you look into some of the reports coming out from Gartner or Deloitte's particular report from Gartner from HR Strategy and Workforce Change Report 2023, if you look into 2023 Deloitte Global Capital Trends, you will find out how effectively they recommended this strategy for HR leaders to implement as well too. So let me talk about a successful story about this strategy too. And it's come from Siemens. So Siemens did the project in 2023 called Internal Change Agent Network. So what they did is this. Siemens created a 3,000 plus employee global network of trained change advocates across all the functions, not just few functions, all the functions. And there is a lot of companies I've seen fall apart because they actually fail to do it all the functions. They typically focus on few functions only. But here, the magic thing is about all functions. So Siemens then equipped them with storytelling tools, digital advocacy kits, and incentives for engagements. And that created a great outcome for Siemens. So employee resistance to digital transformation dropped by 34%, and the project delivery timeline improved by 22%. That is a game changer for them to thrive forward in this challenging VUCA world, which is happening since in COVID-19. The third one I want to mention is this, the strategy. Align change messaging with personal purpose and the organization mission. And here's the magic, and both need to happen. Many companies are pushing a lot on organization mission, and some company pushing too much about personal purpose. And that's what it becomes the problem. This personal purpose and organizational mission need to work hands on hand. It cannot be separately done. And I will tell you now why it really work. So change initiatives often fail because the employees see them as corporate mandates disconnected from their personal and organizational purpose. So the company that link these two actually see the magic into it. That's why I was explaining to you. So if you look into some of the report coming from PwC, Workforce of the Future Report 2023, or even BCG's Change Management Survey in 2023, they highlighted about this strategy and they shared a lot of related data that how this strategy really been successful for a lot of organizations, and they recommended about it as well too. So I want to wrap this your question with you, Marilyn, with one successful story, how a company really implemented this strategy and what kind of outcome they really got. So Patagonia, they actually implemented that one. So project, they call it, is a purpose-driven digital transformation. And they kicked off the project in 2023. And this is what they did. So they tied all the digital and operational changes directly to their environmental mission. And then employees were involved to co-create digital workflow linked to sustainability goals. And here's the outcome. 87% of employees expressed positive attitude toward technology adaptation, and Patagonia's maintained a 90 plus retention rate through the significant process transformation. So people was being a promoter of all the changes rather than resisting and leaving the organization.
John, in your book, 100X Business Workforce, you discuss practical solutions for HR professionals to transform their workforce. Can you share one key concept from your book that leaders can apply immediately?
I want to share first the blueprint behind the organization. So now HR are not an operational department. HR need to be part of the growth of the business. So when we're talking about the growth, what are we talking about the growth? So for me, I like to call it a 10X business growth framework, which is have a total of 5 levels of business. So the first level is about $0 to $1 million, typically the startup. Priority 1 will be their distribution. Priority 2 is expertise. Priority 3, energy. And priority 4 is the media. The level 2 is about a 1 to 10 million US dollar. It's kind of like a family business. A kind of a startup is almost start to get attraction. Their priority number 1 is about product. Priority number 2 is expertise. Priority number 3 is the technology, and priority number 4 is the media. And then when the next level will be at 10 to 100 million dollar, and that time the company already has a team, 50 plus or 100 plus people. They're using technology. So here's the thing: the priority number 1 is the people, expertise, technology, and media. So that's the top 4 priority. And if you go to the level number 4, is a 100 to billion dollar business. And in this one, there are 4 priority will be people, expertise, capital, and the code. And the final level is a billion to $100 million. It's exactly the same like the previous people, expertise, code, and capital, but they just need to do it 10 times more. The only change is about capital become really crucial right now because the capital injection will be required. So why am I telling you this 10x framework when I'm talking about the book, easy to apply? Because every game of HR is here, because every company in the world is belong to one of those levels, level 1 or 2, level 5. So as soon they are level there, all the executive of the company's mission is one and only. They need to create a series of micro breakthrough to take the company from the present level to the next level. If they fail to do that one, they actually will deteriorate to the most likely the lower level because their competitor will come on and take their market share from them too. So when I'm talking about the micro breakthrough, it's basically working on their top 4 priorities. Like an example, a company to 10 to $100 million, their top 4 priorities are people, expertise, technology, and media. So these are the 4 things they need to put it on in a specific manner to create a flywheel effect into the workforce. So they can continuously build that one too. And here's the biggest problem. A lot of HR, they like to do some training, they like to do some consulting, they like to do some employee experience project, but it's all brick by brick. And that's why the HR need to push for it all as a silo. And that's why it's not really bringing up the real potential to overall breakthrough, which the company really need to move to the next level too. So now the concept I want to talk about is about the workflows flywheel framework. So whenever you want to take the company from one level to the next level, you have to create a series of micro breakthrough. To do this one as an HR or business leader, the goal number 1, you need to create 3 pillars in your workforce. The first one is about disciplined people. Inside disciplined people, you have to look for level 1 to level 5 leaderships. And then the second aspect will be on this one is a productivity and effectiveness. Measure and improve both of them. And the second column is about discipline process. It's about the first factor on this one is about insight of the people. And the second factor is about synergy of the goal and the people. Like CEO deciding all those things, but the bottom line in a customer service or the sales staff should know what is their role is contribute to overall company's growth. So that's the second column. The third column is about discipline culture. The culture of discipline means design a culture, an operating system, which will facilitate the company move from one level to the next level. And the second factor is about HR brand and all kind of technology factor. So now, the thing I want to talk about is this one. You mentioned is that you want to do one thing. So this is the one thing you should do. Take the 10x business growth framework, identify what level you are in right now. Let's say example, you are in level 3, means you are a business revenue of a 10 to $100 million right now. And the CEO wanted to go to the next level for sure, because that's why all the shareholder hired all the management team in the company. And then look for the workforce flywheel framework. Find out among these 3 columns, what is your most strength in your company right now, and what is the most weakest in your company. And then just to double that strength of that column and try to overcome the strength number 3 to at least reduce the holes. And if you just do that one, it will significantly fasten your flywheel factor in your company, and you will start to see in 3 to 6 months of time some dramatic change.
That sounds like a very interesting step to take for HR professionals. I would love to hear from their experience after implementing your strategy. John, many organizations adopt new technologies but they sometimes fail to see a significant impact on workforce productivity. What are they doing wrong, and how can they fix that?
It's a long list of problems, I can tell you upfront, but as I would really want to double click with two reasons. And I want to talk about why it's happened to, and I also want to give it to you some of the case studies, some of the companies who really actually solve that problem too. So as a listener, you can also get some of the value out of it, and you probably can use this thing to tackle your challenge as well too. So the first reason I will say is a technology adaptation without the workforce enablement. Execution went too fast without going at the right assessment route. That's why it happens. So many organizations invest in advanced technologies like AI, automation, collaboration tools, but fail to train, engage, and align employees with these tools. So I really want to say failed, because inadequate training is not a successful training. So that's why I use the word failed. So the only 31% of the employee feel confident in using new technologies introduced at work. And that is the one report coming out from PwC, Workforce Hope and Fear Survey in 2023, just a couple of years back. So I want to talk about one bank, which is really taking good care of that one too. And I will tell you that how they really solve this problem. So as a listener, you can also handle that one too with this approach. So it's DBS Bank. So the DBS Bank implemented a digital skill accelerator paired with embedded in-app learning across their core system. So the all employees were trained in automation, data analytics, and AI-driven decision-making tools. And here's the outcome they got. The productivity gained by 20% in operational process. Over 16,000 plus employees certified in digital skill within just 2 years period of time, which really helped the technology adaptation significantly higher into their organization. So that's the issue, and this way the DBS solved that one. I want to move to the reason number 2. So the reason number 2 is about technology implemented in silos without the process redesign. Everybody want fast outcome. Many businesses want to have the chicken before even having the egg. So it becomes a chicken and egg problem. So what is this one? Let me break it down for you in a little bit more. So organizations often layer new technologies onto existing process instead of redesigning the workflow to fully leverage technology potentials. It's actually also came to the Deloitte's human capital trends in 2023 as well too. So 67% of the companies say they adopt new technologies, but keep legacy processes, reducing impact. That's the problem. So the way to handle this one is going to be, I'm going to bring back Siemens again, because they're doing some really cool projects and around. So the second success story about this reason problem is coming also from Siemens. So what the Siemens actually did? So Siemens combined workflow redesign with automation deployment for procurement, finance, and HR processes. So what they did also, Siemens used process mining tool to identify bottlenecks before technology deployment, ensuring the streamlined digital process. And outcome was amazing. So I want to give you 3 numbers, which are going to really help everyone to understand what was the outcome. So first, reduce the manual processes time by 45%. That's almost half. Number 2, improve the employee productivity by 26% in effective departments. So that means the department who has been most amount of change faced, this is what that happened. And the last thing is about the cost reduction. So cut the average process cycle time by 35%. It's like 1/3 almost. And these are the two things I would like to highlight everyone. If you're facing these two, study these two companies case study like I mentioned, and you will find some really good nuggets, and you will be able to handle and tackle this challenge for your organization.
In your experience working with companies, John, what are the biggest challenges CEOs and founders face when implementing workforce change, and how can they overcome these hurdles?
It's challenging because I've been thinking about three, but let me say the biggest one in my observation. The biggest one will be this one. It's about misalignment between the leadership vision and the middle management execution. It's been there for so long, and for so many companies are facing this one too. So I just could not help myself to speak it on as the biggest one here. So let me break it down a little more in this one to help everyone understand why this is the biggest one. So CEO often envision large-scale transformation, but the middle manager responsible for day-to-day execution. So what they do? They often resist or misinterpret the changes. And if you look in the report coming out from BCG Global Transformation Report, you will find out they reported 67% of the transformation failed due to lack of effective communication between leadership and operational team. There is also a report coming out from McKinsey, their global survey on transformation. They reported that only 27% of managers feel they have the tools and authority to drive workforce transformation. Only 27%. That's even less than 1/3. So how do we can handle this thing? So I like to talk about a model which can help to solve this challenge. I like to call this model the leadership cascade model. So let me explain to you how it works. So first, equip all layers of leaders, means C-suite, VP, directors, managers, with aligned messaging, clear roles in transformation, and measurable objective tied to the change programs. And I know it's going to be the hardest one to do because the roles will be changed, responsibility will change, messaging will be changed, but it needs to happen to make it work. That effort, worth it. Number two, use the cascading workshops and leadership roundtables to continuously align strategies with ground realities. And actually, when you do this one, it's going to support the number one as well too, because that clear up a lot of confusions and get people on the table and on board and drive things forward too. And the number three will be embed the transformation KPI into the leadership performance review to ensure shared accountability. So nobody can say this one, hey, not my priority. It's going to become their priority too. So I want to share that successful story of what company really well did this so well, and they've been really thriving forward right now, is Schneider Electric. So the Schneider Electric launched a global workforce transformation across 100+ countries. They implemented a cascading leadership engagement model, which I just explained to you, where every leaders down to frontline supervisors receive tailored transformation workshops. Leaders' annual performance evaluation include the change adaptation matrix, ensuring there is a full accountability and ownership in all the levels. Okay, so Schneider applied that one too. Let me tell you some of the outcome too, how it really helps Schneider to thrive forward. I'm going to share with three numbers to make it really clear to everybody. The first one, 92% of the manager engaged in transformation program. 92%. I just wanted to highlight on this one, that one, it's really hard to get the middle manager involved in the transformation program because they are really busy what they really do and they don't want to do anything on top of it. And this is not something help them because it's actually increasing their work too. But here, 92%. Number two, workforce change initiatives deliver 30% faster than in previous projects. It's completely shifted the process and help them to be on the track of really ambitious speed. So that is a good one. So if you're looking for high speed execution, this is a good model. And the third one is about employee engagement score improved by 15% during transformation. Yeah, 15% is not really big, but it's definitely an improvement. So any company who apply this cascaded model, in my average, I have seen they get 10 to 25% easily improvement on this factor.
Thank you very much for being on the show. Your best wishes with your book.
Thank you, Marilyn. It was a pleasure to share you all these insights and strategies to the audience. And thank you very much for also expressing your best regards and wishes for my book as well.
Support for this show comes from Western Carolina University, a campus of the University of North Carolina system, with the technical assistance of Kelly Minnis.